Please report back to your class immediately.
Strategies. Talk to me about when you look at these lesson plans. So I really appreciated this. I think especially we have a curricular resource that Smith is using, and she's still pulling out the key points. She's got specific scholars from her small group that she's got for specific parts of the lesson that she knows she's going to assign to certain words, certain strategies. How did you get her to this place?
Well, the lesson plan was new for intervention. So we just presented the template. Smith is also coming from the classroom, so she has that background of doing the lesson plan. And as far as I think the biggest growth in this area for her when it comes to lesson plan is the differentiation piece and adding the students' names.
Yeah.
And you can even notice that they're color coordinated, so that just lets her know how much time to spend on a specific skill for a specific student.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just pretty much just telling her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just doing that part.
I'm curious about. So I know we do a really great job of differentiating based on readiness and skill, and this is something you're always talking about, and I'm curious how it's showing up in your leadership with your team, differentiating for like student voice and choice or different learning modalities. What is that looking like in your team?
So when it comes to intervention, because it's like quick hits, there isn't a lot of room for that, but I do try to like encourage the team, like maybe at the end of a quarter, right, we can kind of like slow things down and then allow that to look a little more like, for example, if it's create a week project. You're going to work on this project for the week. Within this week, you are now going to allow a little bit more flexibility for the students. You know, maybe they are creating a part, maybe they are doing a presentation, and it's not like a lengthy, I have all these slides, but it could be like, pop up and tell me something that you learned about this, or what was your favorite part in this activity, or something like that. And then for Smith specifically, she is also getting gifted endorsed. So a lot of the skills she's able to incorporate in that in terms of like different teaching strategies. So one of them I could think from the top of my head is like a task rotation. That's a teaching strategy that allows teachers to kind of break a classroom up into like groups, but every group has something different to focus on. And then as the facilitator, she is checking in with this group, making sure that they're doing it, you know, but it's like autonomy for the students. It's not the teacher like standing there telling them all the things. It's like, this is what you're going to work on, and then we're going to move on to a different skill. And then it may be a rotation, or it may be like one student from each group come together, and then now they are the facilitators, and they are the ones telling the rest of the group what we did. And then now you have student ownership, you know, independence and stuff like that.
What did you say that was called?
Student ownership?
No, the strategy with the different groups.
Oh, that is called the task rotation.
Okay, task rotation. That's awesome. I love that. I would love to look at her lesson plan and see if we can find a space for bringing in a little bit of student learning modalities. I do think voice and choice is hard with this curriculum, to your point. Would you be open to that?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So I see that she's identified Elkonin boxes. Where was that? It's up here. And so in her lesson plan, she's got tap and say each sound. What are some other ways? So tapping could be a kinesthetic thing. What are some other ways that we could engage scholars with segmenting short words?
I really like the slinkies.
Say more.
So you get a slink. Instead of tapping, now they're just stretching it out. Similar to like the rubber band. That's something that, and I think especially, you know, the tier 3 students, a lot of them unfortunately do have behavior issues as well. But when they have something more tangible, they're able to be, they're able to be engaged as well. So just really encouraging more tangible things. That's one way I
Yeah.
can think of.
And I want to emphasize, because the other thing that the Slinky, and I'd never heard of that,
Oh, okay.
but what I love about it is because in the curriculum they will learn for their segmenting to stretch the sounds, but then they also, we've noticed a lot of scholars struggle with putting them back together on the dibbles for their word reading fluency. So it would be ch, at, chat, right? And that would be visual, kinesthetic. So I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Any others you think about? I'm looking just at the segmenting one. I really think this is an important skill for this level.
I mean, I think that can just be repetitive with just replacing another object. The Slinky, the rubber band. I don't know. I'm sure you could find, it'd be really nice. The finger.
Oh, the Chinese finger traps.
So then they do it, and then, I don't know, but something to give that movement, you know, and then, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
It is. It's a good one.
Play-Doh.
I like Play-Doh as well. Especially, they do the thing where you push as you count each one. I wanted to look at one more. Do all of your folks use Elkonin boxes?
No, it just depends on the skill that they're using. So Smith works with first grade and third grade, but also be mindful, remembering that even though it's third grade, they're on the first grade level. So they're still using those skills. But then as far as students who have mastered the foundational skills but just need more support on comprehension and vocabulary, they use something different.
Yeah. I want to stamp 2. Well, actually, I'll ask you what you think before I say anything. Because our tier 2 spaces use the same curriculum, but it's our gen ed teachers who are pulling small groups during SGI. What would you hope to see different from a tier 2 classroom versus a tier 3 classroom in implementation of a similar lesson?
I guess for a tier 2 classroom, I would love to see it mirrored. I would love for them to do the same things, but I do know that tier 2 may not need as much intensive intervention.
Yeah.
So maybe just more collaboration with the peers themselves, right?
So raising the DOK. Of it.
Like I'm learning with you, and now. You may know a little bit more than me, but now we can maybe have a conversation about this topic that we're working on together.
Absolutely.
And being, teaching them the mindset of being open-minded and working with someone, you build on that collaboration.
Yeah, I love that. Any other ideas?
Because, well, no, I'm just thinking too, because one, imagine the teacher has their small group, but then now you have little mini teaching sessions going on in the classroom, right? And then it could be choice, right? Because not every student wants to work with another person. Sometimes they just want to work by themselves, and that's okay. I think teachers should just allow that too. If they're working, allow them to do that.
Especially in this kind of situation.
Because I know normally, some students, especially if they got it, they don't want to be waiting for the other scholar, so and then that's when frustration builds up and all that stuff. So but I do think just maybe having that autonomy, and it builds confidence too for those who may struggle, or now they may be struggling but they've mastered CVC and now they want to teach somebody about it, right? So now they're like, hey, I already know this. So
yeah, I love that. Any other thoughts about how tier 2 and tier 3 might look a little different? And it's okay if not.
No, I can't think of anything right now. I'm really just thinking of the block that it happens in. I know for us it'll be SGI, but even I guess I could say with the resources that are provided to the students, that could look different.
Say more.
For tier 3, it may be less work on the paper for them to kind of focus on one skill, but maybe at the tier 2 level you can turn it up just a little bit. But I think not all of the students should have the same worksheet, right? That's where we really differentiate. Even maybe having an A worksheet, a B worksheet, and a C worksheet, and then who to give what to. Maybe.
Yeah, and I think within phonics for reading, a way to do that that is mostly aligned with the program goals is in tier 2, if you know their struggle is fluency, we are not spending as much time on segmenting and blending. There's a fluency part of the lesson, and it might say 5 minutes for phonemic awareness and 10 minutes for fluency, and you say we're going to do 2 minutes on phonemic awareness and 12 minutes on fluency.
That's good.
And vice versa, right? So depending on what the skill is in the tier 3 space, I do think pacing is an underutilized differentiator.
Yeah.
I think too, most tier 2 scholars probably would not need as many kinesthetic options. Not that they shouldn't have any.
Right.
But I think there is, you use the word intensity, right? And it's like, I need you pushing, touching, saying, and seeing. Whereas in tier 2, you might have the same skill gap, but the if you're only identified in tier 2, what that means is that with a little bit more, you should be able to close it. And tier 3 means you need a lot more to close the same gap. So I love that, and I'm thinking about, and we won't have time to discuss it today, but I would love to also like think about what is intensity? Like when we say more time, more intensity, or more, there's another one, specificity, I think it is. I forget. What does that mean? Like, what does intensity mean? You know? What are you thinking about as a takeaway or next step from this conversation?
I think I would like to delegate more of my interventionists to maybe sit with the teachers and maybe kind of just toss some ideas out on the table. I think a lot of the times when ideas are presented, you know, as a classroom teacher, you can begin, like the wheels can start to turn and you can kind of see the vision a lot clearer when somebody is able to like expose something different from your perspective on thinking. And just really allowing the interventionist to kind of like dive a little bit deeper in having the teachers understand like how this scholar is learning. Like what level are they really learning at? Like I know you're in the classroom and you're going, but sometimes you have to stop and pause and think about who you're serving.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the same collaboration you'd like to see built in for scholars, you want to build that in for your team and teachers as well. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
No
Appreciate
problem.
you.
Thank you.